live. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Sorry it took a couple minutes to get going today, but we are ready to go. Kind of excited about today. I want to give a shout out to a guy by the name of Jason Neifer. He works with NCCE, which is the Northwest Computer Consortium of Education or something like that. I can't remember the exact acronym, but anyway, this is a educational tech conference that's put on every year. Good group of people. He does a session every year called 30 and 50 where he just blasts out 30 web tools in 50 minutes, which if you do the math is, not very much time for each tool. The idea is that I'm going to introduce these things, but this is not intended to be a how-to on any of them. So if you see something you like and you can go check it out and use it, and great. If you need help with it later, let me know. I can help you out with it. But for the most part, a lot of these tools are pretty straightforward, not too complicated to jump into. So hopefully everybody will find something useful in the 10 tools we have today. So let's jump into it. The first tool I have is Timelinely, which sounds like you're kind of, stuttering over your words, but it's a timeline website. Basically, you can take any YouTube video and turn it into a timeline where you can make comments or link other resources and whatnot. It is free, which you'll see is a good theme throughout all of the tools here. They're all free. It uses the Google sign-in, which means you don't have to create a new password and account login information to remember to get into it. You just choose your school district Google account and it uses that as your login. So that's a big plus. It allows you to add comments to a timeline underneath the video. So you choose a video off of YouTube, it'll be playing and there'll be links along the timeline. When the video gets to a certain point, it will show either your comments. You can have text comments there. You can have a link to another video if you want to make some video comments of yourself commenting on the video or pointing out important information out of the video. It's a good way to augment a video that you want your students to watch. You can include links to other web resources. You also get a very simple web link to share with your students. So they don't have to worry about, a complicated web address to get to something. It gives you a nice shortened URL to get there. So that's the first one, Timelinely. Really liked it for its simplicity. There are other tools that do similar things but add a whole lot more. So if you just need that simple function, Timelinely is a really good way to go with that. Second one, this one just popped up the other day. I've known about it for a long time, but most people don't necessarily know it's there. Google Forms is a great way to get things turned in, not just asking true, false, and multiple choice questions or doing a quick survey, but you can actually have it collect files for you. So if you have your students creating a short video clip or an audio clip, or if you have them putting together a poster in Google Slides or something like that, anything like that, you can have it turned in through Google Forms. And what you do is you make a basic form, but you choose your question type is a file upload. So instead of multiple choice or check boxes or short answer, you choose file upload. And then you can control what they upload. So you can control what type of file it is. It has to be a photo, or it has to be a video, or it has to be a PDF, or it won't accept it. You can control the number of files. You can say only one, or you can, choose 10 if you want to let them put in 10 files. And then the file size, maximum file size. So this is the per file size limitation. And what you'll see is when they go to submit, they'll get a form, and of course you could have instructions and stuff up at the top and whatnot. I didn't put those in for this demonstration, but they click add file and it gives them the ability to pick the file off of their computer, off of their Chromebook, laptop, iPad, whatever, and attach it and submit it to you through the Google form. What it will do is, just like anything that's submitted to you through a Google form or through Google Drive, through Google Classroom, when it submits the file, it puts it in your Google Drive. It'll put it in a folder. That folder will be named the same as your form, photo submission form. There'll be a photo submission folder in my Google Drive, for example. And all of those files will go into that folder, and then I can review them later and give students feedback and all that kind of good stuff. So if you weren't aware of that feature in Google Forms, that's a good way to go. Good thing to use. All right, next tool is Google Keep. I like Google Keep because it's real simple. It doesn't do a lot of stuff. There are other note-taking applications out there. Evernote, for example, is one. They do a whole lot more, but they also add some levels of complexity that a lot of people don't necessarily want or need. I do like the fact that Keep is integrated into Google Docs. You may have noticed over on the right-hand side in a Google Doc, there are icons. One of them is this Google Keep icon. It's up here in the upper left, the little light bulb icon you can see there. If you click on that, you can bring things from your notes in Google Keep straight into your document. So it's a good way to do some research. Like if you're looking for research on George Washington and you're searching the web, you can add links to your Google Notes real easy, and then incorporate those into your documents real easy as well. The other nice feature is that this Google Keep allows you to set reminders, and these will tie into your calendar, and you'll get a notification. If you have notifications on calendar turned on, you'll get a notification that says, hey, don't forget to do this, whenever you set up the reminder. So there's nice integration between Google products in that respect. All right, next up is Edie Puzzle. A lot of you might be familiar with Edie Puzzle. Edie Puzzle is another tool that allows you to take a YouTube video and add things onto it. So in this case, what you can do is you can make it so that it plays a certain piece of a video. Maybe you don't want them to watch the whole thing. You just want them to watch this couple of minutes of the video. It will also stop at certain points that you specify and ask questions for them to give feedback. It could be a true-false question. It could be an extended response question. It could be a multiple choice kind of question. Like the other tools, it's free and it uses the Google sign-in, single sign-in, so you don't have to create a separate account. Really like that. You can do voiceover on the videos, which is nice. So if there's a part of the video that's playing and you want to point some things out, it'll be your voice talking over the video. Nice feature there as well. And it integrates with Google Classroom really well. So once you've created one of these videos, you can directly assign it from Edie Puzzle straight into your Google Classroom classes as an assignment. So you don't have to, copy and paste links and all that kind of stuff. It's directly integrated with Google Classroom. So like Edie Puzzle, it does some cool things, kind of like Timelinely, but it has a lot more features. And if you need the more features, it's a great way to go. Next one up is Pear Deck. Pear Deck for Google Slides adds functionality to your Google Slides, allows you to basically make it more interactive. You can insert slides where there are questions, where you can have students give feedback. Could be a multiple choice question, could be an extended response question where they type an answer. There's, I think, half a dozen or so different ways that they can respond to various questions. Again, it's also free. There is a paid version that gets you some more options, but the free version is pretty feature packed. Google sign-in, so you don't have to use a separate login. Once you create one, you can give students a code to join your Pear Deck to be able to respond to your questions and whatnot. So in this distance learning model that we're stuck in at the moment, you could be on a Zoom call. You could share your screen with your slides on it. And then as you go through the slides and give your presentation, students would be able to answer questions at certain points throughout the session. So good addition to Google Slides with that as well. It also ties in with PowerPoint. You can do this with PowerPoint as well. So if you're a bigger fan of PowerPoint, you can do it through PowerPoint as well. If you've used Pear Deck before, it's a good tool. I highly recommend it. The next one, Scoutlier. This one's new to me as well. It is also free, has Google sign-in bonuses. It allows you to create lessons and give students lots of ways to respond. So this isn't so much of a slide presentation as you put together resources and parts of a lesson that students would go through on their own at their own time. So this asynchronous learning kind of model. One thing that it does really well, again, it's got more tools. It's a little more complicated than some of the other ways of doing this out there. But one of the things that it does really well is collect like scientific data. So there is an app for iOS, so iPads, iPhone, and there's an Android app as well that allows you to collect data using the sensors in a cell phone, for example, or the sensors in an iPad, and then submit that data to the assignment. So you could, for example, have your students go outside and measure light levels. The camera on your cell phone or the iPad will measure the light level, and then it will include GPS data. And so you could get how bright the light is in different areas wherever the students are. You could do accelerometer readings. So have a student go outside and run around and record those different accelerations that happen and stuff like that. So it's a good tool on the science end of things. It's a little more complicated for just basic lessons, but it does have more functionality there as well. It also integrates with Google Classroom, so you can create your assignment and then click a button and automatically assign it straight into Google Classroom. Next up, Classroom screen. Nice squirrel, huh? Classroom screen. Let me bring up the actual screen. Classroom screen probably has better functionality when you're in the classroom with students, but there are ways that you could use it as well within the classroom. And basically, it's just a really simple interface that gives you all kinds of tools that teachers typically want. So, for example, it gives you dice. You can roll dice. So maybe you want to randomly choose students. You give them numbers, and you roll the dice and pick a number. So number 11 goes, for example. It gives you a random name picker, so you can copy and paste your list of student names into this box, and then you click choose, and it gives you a random name over and over again. QR codes. iPad folks, especially in the elementary grades, getting all of your students to the same URL, the same web address by typing it in, not so easy. But you can literally copy and paste a web address. I'll just copy this one. If you paste it here, it will give you a QR code that they can use the camera on the iPad, for example, to take a picture of that QR code, and it will automatically take them to the website that you want them to see. That website could be a PDF document in your Google Drive. It could be a website. It could be a video, link to a video. It could be anything that has a web address. So this is a great way to get all of your students to a particular location easily. You can draw on the screen. It'll give you a box to draw in. And you can make that bigger, of course. So if you need to draw or illustrate something, you can do that. Type text, traffic light. I like the traffic light. This might be really useful, especially again in elementary classrooms. You can have the stoplight up there, and you click the stoplight, the light's red. Hey, everybody, stop and pay attention to me. I'm going to talk to you for a minute, and then we'll click green and you can go back to work. There's a timer, there's a stopwatch, there's a clock, there's a calendar, all these different things you can put up on the screen. So classroom screen, great free tool, very easy to use. Even if you're one of those people that say, oh, I'm such a newbie to tech and it's so hard for me to figure these things out, this one is really, really dead simple, easy to do. Next up, Mentimeter. Mentimeter is also free. It has a Google sign-in, so you don't have to remember a new password or anything like that. It allows you to create interactive presentations. So you could do like a set of slides, and you can insert, again, questions and answer kind of slides where you can get feedback from the students. In this case, it all happens in Mentimeter. So this is not an add-on to PowerPoint or Google Slides. Everything happens within Mentimeter. Now, I have to say that the slide building capabilities are not as good as Google Slides. They're not as rich. There's not as many animations and transitions and stuff like that. And it's certainly not as rich as PowerPoint. You can do a lot more stuff in PowerPoint. But it is very simple. If you've struggled before with just too many options in PowerPoint or Google Slides, this might be a good way to go. And it does allow you to put in slides where you can get feedback, questions, information from your students, whether it's a survey or a quick question or a quick check on understanding kind of thing. It is easy to set up and use, and the data can be exported. So when your students answer a question, all of that information is saved, and then you can download that later and take a look at it and see, did all my students get this question correct, or are they still struggling with it, or whatever. So that's Mentimeter. That one was new to me. I just recently came across that one. Next one, FlippityNet, which is kind of a weird name, but FlippityNet is nothing more than a bunch of Google Sheets templates. But these templates take information that you put into a spreadsheet and make flashcards. And there's a bunch of different templates here. Let me show you just on the demo of the basic flashcards. You can click and flip the cards over. It will talk to you. If you are familiar with Quizlet, the voice reading of the cards in Quizlet is very robotic sounding, very much like you expect a computer to talk to you. This is a lot more natural. 1492. And they can hear it. My guy is saying they can hear it, so that's good. The largest animal so on Earth. You can see it's a lot more. I can't hear it, but apparently you guys can. So apparently that gives you a much more natural sounding reading. So if you're dealing especially with younger kids that are learning to read stuff, and it's important that they hear it read correctly instead of sounding like a computer, then this would be a better way to go perhaps than Quizlet. They're all free. There's not even a login or anything like that. Really easy to set up and use, and you can make them exactly, say exactly what you want on them. So Flippity, I like it a lot. That's really, really straightforward, easy tool to use. And the last one, we're just about right on time here. I said 10 and 30, and we got 5 minutes left. So the last one up is WakeLit. WakeLit is a bookmarking site. It allows you to collect collections of web addresses, videos, text, whatever, and collect that all in one place, and then you can share that page with whoever you want. So I'm going to log in and show you the one that I created for this site, for this broadcast anyway. The link to this WakeLit, by the way, is in the description. If you want to click on that, all of these tools are listed there with links to the website, so you can find them later. You may want to go to the WakeLit before you leave today and maybe bookmark the page so you can get back to it later. But they're all listed right here. You could use this with your students. You could gather a bunch of resources. I want you to watch this video. I want you to read this PDF. I want you to go to this Google form and respond. And you could have it all there in sequence for them to go through. And it just really does a nice job of organizing pretty much anything you can find on the web. It can incorporate into one of these Wakelets. I have this one set up as a linear stream, so one above the other, but you can also do them more like a bulletin board where they're not in a particular line, where they're just posted up on the board. I think there's even a way that you can share it with students and have students add things to it. So all good options. Again, free, Google sign in, so you don't have to remember a new password and whatnot. Students can follow you. So if they follow you every time you put up a new Wakelet, they'll get a notification with a link to it. So if you're using this over and over again for new units as you go along in your class, you could create a new Wakelet for each unit with resources and stuff on it. Again, if they follow you, then they will get notifications of that. It also has Google Classroom integration. So again, just like the others, Once you create one, you can push it straight into your Google Classroom without having to copy and paste links and all that kind of stuff to get it to your students in Google Classroom. So that's 10 in 30 minutes, actually in 28 minutes or so. So there you go. I'm going to check questions real quick. Quick question says, can you get these put in the Google list under the waffle? No. But you could make bookmarks to them all, which is what I would recommend. You might make a folder. I should probably do a video on how to organize bookmarks and make folders and stuff like that. But you can make a folder in your bookmarks with all these tools that you use in there. But there is not a way to add them to the Google menu, that waffle print there. So second question says, options for sharing learning YouTube without using our bandwidth that kids can see in school iPads, Edie Puzzle. Yeah, I don't have a good option for that. They just recently opened YouTube for the high school kids. I know that they are talking about other grades possibly as well. Unfortunately, these tools don't typically work with videos stored in your Google Drive. So they really have to be on YouTube. I'm not sure of a good answer there, but if I come across one, I will definitely let people know. Always looking for ways to do that. I would personally not like to have to rely on YouTube, because if I make a lesson for a video and that video disappears or that video changes, then my lesson is all goofed up. So I would rather have the video in my Google Drive and under my control and use these tools from there. So I'm always looking for that, and if I find some of those kinds of things, I will definitely get that out to you guys. So we're going to call it good for today. Thanks everyone. Tune in next week and we'll see what we do next time. Bye.